Welcome to the Don't Get Fooled Show with Big Rear Ace NFL Divisional Round. Let's go, Ace.
All right, boys and girls, we got the divisional round coming off an exciting wild card round, Big Ree. And before we get into the episode, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment below. We appreciate all the comments. And get your DGF merch. We appreciate that. Support the channel. And before we get into the episode, let's start off with the tragic disaster that's going on here in our hometown, Los Angeles. These wildfires are just out of control. Devastating wildfires that are just literally just taking over the entire city and just literally burning down entire cities. Not just one house or two houses or a block, entire cities. Altadena, Pacific Palisades, parts of Hollywood are just being destroyed. These crazy winds are not helping, and there's a lot of other stuff going on. But I guess me and Big Ree want to just, first of all, give all our prayers to everybody that's been affected. I mean, people have lost their homes, lost everything, basically, Big Ree.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, losing a house is a huge deal, but you want to keep your family, your pets, and those things you can't replace.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, keep your family safe, and everything else can be replaced. But just the devastation that the wildfires have done, and then just basically everybody, you're displaced from your home. I mean, we take for granted that you get off of work, you get off of school, get off of our shoot, and then you just go home and you got a comfortable living room and a comfortable bed to go to and a refrigerator. And now many people, thousands and thousands of people do not have that anymore.
Yeah, one of our guys, Jack Lee, had to evacuate.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he was at the Rose Bowl. His house, thankfully, is still standing, he said.
Shout out to Jack Lee. Yeah, I mean, Pasadena, that area close to the Altadena fires. Obviously, we were about 15 minutes north, but we got the evacuation on another fire, right?
Yeah.
Like the alarm starts going off, your phones are going off, the fire, you can start smelling the fire, and people are starting to rush out because everybody doesn't know. We're about from the mountainside about half a mile.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of scary that, hey, you got to start evacuating, but then pretty quickly they contained that fire. There was probably 8-9 different fires going on, some huge ones, some smaller ones, but thankfully we're not super impacted, but there's a lot of people that are really impacted, Big Ree. I mean, it is really something else. I mean, Pacific Palisades is destroyed in that area, completely just destroyed. 75-80% of the city is gone.
Yeah.
And then you got Altadena, same situation, just the whole city is just burned down. Like legitimately, the entire city is gone. It's so crazy. And man, I mean, people, it's gonna, unfortunately, you don't just rebuild over something like this. This is not overnight or even a month or 6 months or a year. This is gonna take 5-10 years to rebuild what happened here.
Yeah.
It's just devastating, man. But it's not over yet. At this point, all these fires are still raging, and you start getting some crazy wind gusts. It could get even worse. So hopefully they can control it. But just our prayers, thoughts and prayers are with everybody.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everybody. A lot of people reached out to us on Instagram and YouTube and said, hope you guys are safe. So we appreciate everybody that reached out. All right, let's get into the quote of the day. Quote of the day: when it takes you 20 plus years to get any level of success, you're much smarter about keeping it. There's nothing special about me. I just stuck with it and worked hard. Once again, quote of the day: when it takes you 20 plus years to get any level of success, you're much smarter about keeping it. There's nothing special about me. I just stuck with it and worked hard. Louis C.K., comedian. Big Ree, how do you feel about the quote of the day?
I love it. It's just like staying on the grind or doing what you have to do. I think the first thing that comes to mind is school. When you think about that, you stuck with it. You went to college. You did kindergarten to 12th grade, then college. and then possibly people who do their doctors or masters.
Yep.
So that comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I just take out of this is like, you gotta put the time and effort in, and you gotta just stick with something. First of all, I say you gotta be laser focused, stick with it, and then the main point that I take out of this is like, the longer you stick with something and then you get that success, it's harder for it to just go away.
Yeah.
You're just much, like you said, you're much smarter about keeping it, and it's harder to go away, right? If you put 20 years into something, it's tough. It's rare that overnight it's going to go away, but you could be successful in something in 6 months, right? 1 year, and then boom, that quickly could go away too, right?
Yeah.
But you're putting it in and you're building that equity over 20 years. You're gonna be smarter about keeping it. And so, great quote of the day: just be resilient, keep putting in the hard work, and you'll get there, and you'll be better at that point than something that's happened so quickly. So that's the quote of the day, Big Ree. Let's get into a recap of Wild Card Weekend. 6 games on the docket. Texans played the Chargers, hosted the Chargers. Texans won 32-12. Big Ree versus the Chargers. I know you got a lot to say about this game. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers started 6-0, and then the game just turned around. C.J. Stroud had a good game. He had, I think, about 200 yards and a touchdown. Joe Mixon had a big game. But the bigger thing here is Justin Herbert. Everyone talks about, he only had 3 interceptions all season long. Yeah, no duh, it's because they ran the ball all the time. And this guy finally throws it and has 4 interceptions in one game. And I think that speaks more than anything. And everyone was on their rants about how he's the most overrated quarterback in the league, which I 100% agree. This team is going absolutely nowhere in the future. Whether you have Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, and this team is going nowhere. They can get T. Higgins, they can get Justin Jefferson, they can get Jamar Chase, whoever they want. This team is going nowhere. Khalil Mack is a free agent. He's definitely dipping. The Chargers suck, and we all know that.
I mean, Big Ree, I got to give you credit. You've been saying this all along, that the Chargers are a fraud. You always say the Chargers are the Chargers. The Chargers are the Clippers of LA. They're a fraud, and you've been saying that Herbert's a fraud. The guy was 14 for 32, not even 50%. 14 for 32, 242, 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown, which I feel was a lucky touchdown when the game was already done.
Yeah.
86 yards to Ladd McConkey. I mean, this was a close game, and then he threw that pick 6, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. He's not showing up when he needs to show up. Harbaugh needs to take responsibility too. Harbaugh needs to take responsibility. And this is probably why he got bounced out of the NFL, that he couldn't show up in these big games. He was a good regular season coach and couldn't show up. Let his team get smoked by the Texans. No way. This is not the Ravens. This is the Texans. And you lose by 20 in a playoff game. This is the most lopsided I think anybody expected out of all the 6 games. Yeah, they got handed to them. Shout out to C.J. Stroud. He played well. He stepped up. Joe Mixon had a good game. Their defense obviously played really well. Just were reading Herbert left and right. And I think this really answers, a lot of questions about Herbert. I mean, he's got to show up. And yeah, so congrats to the Texans. I don't think anybody thought they were going to win this game.
Yeah.
I think, 99% of the money was on the Chargers.
Yeah, I sent you the screenshot.
Yeah, 99% of the money. And Texans showed up and won. Congrats to the Texans. The second game, we had the Baltimore Ravens beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-14. Big Ree, what are your thoughts on this game?
I really don't know what to say here besides the Steelers just got handled. That's just the way to put it. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah, I mean, 28-14 Baltimore. I mean, obviously Steelers put up some points in the second half, but I mean, they outgained Pittsburgh 464-280 in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, they just dominated. Lamar played great. I mean, Derrick Henry almost put up 200 on them. And, Russ, he did what he could. I mean, he made it competitive. He threw some touchdowns in the second half and, put up some yards, but it just wasn't enough. Obviously, Baltimore's offense is just at a different level. But really, I think the main thing is the Steelers' defense disappointed.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, your defense has got to give these guys a chance. It's 21-0 at half.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You guys can't give up 21 points at half and expect these guys to have a chance. You got to hold Baltimore here to, 20, 21 points and then give them a chance. If you did that, maybe this potentially could have been a better game. But, yeah, congrats to Baltimore. I think everybody expected that they were going to win here, and they did. I thought Steelers were going to put up a better fight. I just didn't think they were going to give up 28 points in a playoff game.
Yeah.
And that was the difference right there. So congrats to Baltimore, Lamar Jackson. It'll be a nice setup for the divisional round. Then we got the Bills beat the Broncos 31-7. Big Reed, this was your lock of the week. You said Buffalo's gonna win by 3 touchdowns easily, and they won by 24. And what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, everyone was all hyped. The first touchdown. I had my group with some Denver friends. Oh, here we come, Bo Nix. Oh, not. Psych. And, Buffalo just put them in their place after that. The rest was history. Didn't score another point.
I mean, just dominated them. How does Denver and Sean Payton score 7 points? 7 points, and like you said, they got shut out after that.
Yeah.
I mean, just horrible. I thought they would put up 14 points. I thought, like I said, they were going to win by double digits easily.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to cover. This was probably the lock of the week easily, but I didn't see them only putting up 7. And, I said, look, Bo Nix didn't play well, but this is more on Sean Payton to me. You're this veteran coach, and you didn't get your team prepared for this. And Buffalo came to play at home. Cook played well. Josh Allen played well. And, just dominated. There's not much to say. This wasn't a game.
Yeah.
Let's move on to probably one of the better games. Eagles 22-10 versus your Green Bay Packers. The Eagles won. Big Reed, what were your thoughts here on this game? They won by 12.
Yeah, I mean, the opening play I was watching with my friend Z-Ball. Even when he was bringing it out, I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and then I was just like shaking my head. And the biggest thing out of this comes down to he had the ball and he was down. This is a big debate too.
Yeah.
And it was clearly has the ball, his knees down. He recovered it. I don't like to make any excuses. At the end of the day, that was a momentum swinger. It led him to a touchdown. And I know I don't like to, it's not an excuse either, but Jordan Love was not 100% for sure. And then when he got tackled on one play, I think it was like the second drive, he could see his elbow went out and he was not himself. And I was even saying at one point, put Malik Willis in.
Wow.
I was just like, we have nothing to lose. It's 10-0, put Malik Willis in the second half. And a lot of injuries happened, not just for the Packers, for the Eagles as well. I don't use any excuses. At the end of the day, the Eagles outplayed them, and I was very disappointed by the Packers' offense.
Yeah, I mean, you make a few good points. That opening kickoff, I think that's a huge momentum change. Huge momentum swing, and I think they got the call wrong, in my opinion. I think that shouldn't have been a fumble. I think that was a huge momentum swing and really messed up the Packers, right? They overall, like, they could have easily still won this game as bad as they played, right? With 3 interceptions by Love. I mean, I think this is more on like, hey, I think if all things considered, Green Bay should have won this game. Eagles did not play well at all in this game. Did not play well. I think Devontae Smith had 55 yards. A.J. Brown, 1 reception, 10 yards. Hurts had like 120 yards. They kind of got gifted this game. I think they got gifted 7 points early on.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Jordan Love not being injured kind of screwed them, honestly. They should have won this game. They had 4 turnovers, and this was still a game. This was still a game they could have won with everything going wrong. I feel bad for the Packers. Obviously, they had a lot of injuries. Somebody got in. One of the receivers got injured early on, too.
And Dobbs got injured.
Yeah, so this is their game. They probably, if everyone's healthy, they probably win this game easy. I hope that the Packers add some a stud receiver for Jordan Love, and I think Green Bay is going to be really good. I think the debate I know people want to say, hey, you can't debate it now because they both are knocked out, but I think you brought this up about Love versus Herbert. I think there's no question what the answer is here.
Who's your answer?
I think it's clear Jordan Love. No question about it. There's no question about it that I'm taking Jordan Love over Justin Herbert. No question about it. I want to make that clear as day. Right now, if I'm giving me there's no question. It's not even hesitation there.
Okay.
And I feel bad for the Packers. They should have won this game. And
yeah, because the thing with the Packers is when the defense played great in the first half, and then the offense played bad, and then the offense played okay, and then the defense fell asleep. So it's like.
But they're set up. They got a lot of young talent. They're set up. I mean, Jacobs is still young. He's not like 29, so they're still young.
He said he's going to recruit some players.
Hopefully he does. I think Green Bay is a sexy pick for next year. They come back healthy. They got to add another like really good receiver.
I think they're gonna. They said they're going after T. Higgins and maybe Devontae back.
I think you got to go after somebody. You got to give this guy some more weapons, and then these guys are going to be good. So it's disappointing they lost, but I think they're going to be contending for a long time. So I don't feel bad for them. Then probably the game of the week. Commanders beat the Bucs 23-20, Big Ree.
Yeah, this was a great game. I mean, we got to give it to Jaden Daniels. Rookie QB coming in like that and playing amazing. The one thing I did not like about this game, and I mean, I'm not always the one who plays it safe, but to go for it on fourth down multiple times in the red zone is not the right move. You went 1 for 3, so even with getting that one touchdown, you're still losing on the points.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So I do not agree with Dan Quinn on that. I know he's aggressive with that, but sometimes you just got to take it, because I think they had first and goal at the 1, and then they ended out with nothing.
Yeah, no points, yeah.
So you can't do that, but good win at the end of the day. Now you got the Lions. Peace.
Yeah, they got lucky with that Baker fumble, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really what the difference in the game was, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to knock Jaden Daniels. He played great. He played really good. He was poised. He led them down on multiple drives, and they played well. Congrats. But Quinn almost cost them with his stupid Dan Campbell-like calls, right? And Baker Mayfield played great. But that one fumble, that's it. That was the game. You had a major fumble turnover, and and I know he knows that, and he's going to be thinking about that until next year.
Yeah.
And congrats to Washington, but Dan Quinn, just stupid play calls. You cannot do that in the fourth quarter. Take the points. But congrats to the Commanders. Game of the week. Game of the weekend, and they played well, and now they're playing Detroit. We'll get into that game later on. And then last game, Rams 27-9 over the Vikings. This game was played in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona. The game got moved from a true home game from LA to Arizona.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there, Big Ree? 27-9.
Yeah, I mean, this was my hammer of the week. Yep. I said it. This was the lock.
Yep.
And this was not even a game at all. And unfortunately, I feel bad for this guy because he cost himself millions. Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
This guy just can't show up in big games, and I think just overall in the Vikings can't show up in big games. That's what it comes down to. And the Rams just dominated from start.
From start to finish, it was domination. I agree with you. And obviously the Vikings, they were 14-2, and then they had that opportunity against Detroit to get a first-round bye by beating Detroit in the last week. They lost, 31-9, looked like complete crap, couldn't score a touchdown, and looked like crap. Looked really bad. And then this game they played, they show up, they get lucky that it's not a home game for LA. They come in, and they play like crap again, okay? They play like crap again. Sam Darnold had a lot of bad passes, a lot of good passes. Okay, so Sam Darnold had a lot of bad passes. The receivers had a lot of drops, for sure. They let Darnold get sacked 9 times. Probably half of those were his fault. The other half were just not his fault. The O-line was definitely messed up. But my big beef here is with the coach, Minnesota's coach. Do you know his name?
I forgot off the top.
It's not on top of my head either. But the coach gave up on this game. The coach gave up on this team. At halftime, they were already done. They shipped it in. They were down 24-3, and he shipped it in. He didn't even try to win this game. he already threw in the towel. Shame on you. You guys are 14-3 in the regular season, and you guys are down by 21 points, and you're acting like the game is over already. Like, shame on you. Shame on you. It's 27-9 going into the fourth, and they're acting like this game is done. They're not even, no urgency to hurry up, play some hurry up offense, nothing. Like, it was a complete joke of a game. Like, I feel bad because we're from LA and we're rooting for the Rams, but anybody that's a Minnesota fan here, it's like, holy crap. You were probably watching this game like, what is our team doing? Like, they literally gave up on them. Disappointing. And yeah, Sam Darnold, he cost himself a lot of money over these last two games, but he should still get paid.
He'll get like 35 to 40 now, I'd say.
Yeah, he still should get a Baker contract.
Yeah, he's going to get minimum that. Minimum.
3 years, 100 years, 4 years, 130, something like that.
He'll get that.
He still played well, but like he didn't really help his case in these last two games.
Yeah.
All he had to do was play pretty decent, but he did cost himself. But I still think if I'm Minnesota, I'm still re-signing him.
Yeah.
I'm still re-signing him. I'm not saying, oh, we're going to give the keys to J.J. McCarthy. I mean, J.J. McCarthy could be Zach Wilson 2.0, okay? So if you guys decide to let this guy go, I think it's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. I think you got to keep him and just keep continuing to build around them.
All right. Sam Darnold or Justin Herbert?
I mean, gun to my head, Darnold showed that he can lead you to a 14-3 regular season.
Okay, so
I'm going with Darnold right now. I think Justin Herbert is a good QB. He has the arm talent. He's got the height. He's shown that he can be really good, but he's also shown that he can be really effing bad. Okay?
Yeah.
So the variance is too big. Like, he can be really good, but he can, and it's not like he's shown that he can be, he's never shown that he's been great. He's been shown that he's been good. He's never shown that he's been great. That's right. He's been shown that he's been good, but he also shows that he's been freaking horrible. At least Darnold's shown that he's been really effing good. How many times has Darnold thrown 3 or 4 touchdowns this season and played great?
Yeah.
And Darnold's never played so effing bad. Like, against the Rams, it's not like this guy was 3 interceptions and played freaking horrible, right? He played bad. What was he? 25 for 40, 245, and 1 touchdown. That's not a horrible game. He just didn't play great.
Yeah.
So I would roll with Sam Darnold.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my call there. All right, let's get into the BS segment. Big Ree. Just want to know what's going on with you, Big Ree. I mean, well, what's new? What's new?
Not much. Just stayed in this weekend due to the fire. They really didn't want to go out, so just stayed in pretty much.
Yeah.
Went to the grocery store maybe once or twice, and that's it. Maybe get some food.
Yeah. I mean, the fires have really, devastated the city. Nobody's really in the mood to really go out and enjoy the city when 10, 15 minutes away, the entire city's burning down.
Yeah.
Obviously, LA is a huge city. LA proper, you're probably about a good radius. You're probably like 30 miles each way, so it's huge. But yeah, didn't do much. Slept like a baby on my new Serta mattress.
Nice.
Pillow top. It's been as advertised. I did order a new Serta memory foam pillow, so that has not came in yet. But I did order that one. It was a little bit taxed.
Yeah.
Close to like $75 on the meter for a pillow. That's pretty high, but waiting on that still. Slept like a baby like that. Otherwise, the fires have been, kind of the main situation. I am looking forward to this weekend. We got a big UFC showdown going on. There's a lot of good fights. So we got Saturday. We got two divisional round games on Saturday.
Those are the boring ones, though.
Kansas City and Detroit. I mean, oh, you mean like matchup quality wise? Yeah, I mean,
this wild card weekend was probably the most boring wild card weekend I've had in a while. Every game was boring besides the Commanders game.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot. These games were really uninteresting, but I mean, the Detroit's fun to watch, and so is Kansas City. So I mean,
yeah, but they're probably gonna be blowouts. I think they're like 8 and 9.5 point favorites.
Yeah, that's true. They're both, but but they'll still be fun to watch these games. I mean, Mahomes.
Yeah.
You always interested to watch Mahomes, best player in the league. Detroit, you're fun to watch. So you got 2 games on Saturday. Then we got the UFC fight. So it's going to be a good day. I'm looking forward to Saturday to be able to watch games and eat some good food and just chill out. Are we going to do anything for the UFC fight? Are we going to get out, go watch the fight somewhere?
We can watch it somewhere.
I think we should go watch the fight somewhere, Big Reed.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll
to
talk to the group.
And make something happen for the fight. I think it would be good. Trying to think what else. I've been eating too many damn sweets, Big Reed.
Yeah, I'm definitely cutting down on the sugar. I couldn't fit into one of my shirts, so I was like, oh, it's time.
It's that time, man. Well, you know, everyone says New Year, but it's usually you get the first 2 weeks into the New Year, and then it's really like, okay, now we're in the New Year.
Yeah.
I got to go hard, Big Ree. Yeah. I got to go hard.
I was at the gym yesterday, finally, in a while.
All right, congrats. How'd you feel?
It felt good.
Yeah, now you got to go back hard, Big Ree. Started the new, you want to really try to put some work in the first 2-3 months, by like April 15th, by tax day, you want to feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never really got to ask you any big New Year's resolutions for the new year. 2025 is here, Big Ree, and I don't want to talk about the gym resolutions. Anything else that you got on your mind? Any habits you're trying to change? Anything you're trying to incorporate?
Trying to cut down on the sweets and
Okay.
Get a little bulked up, yoked up.
Yeah, always good to put in work in the weight room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the sweets. I'm definitely gonna cut down on the sweets. Honestly, I've been eating so much sweets that I'm almost like sick of sweets. Like I'm not even craving sweets.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. Too much sweets. I need to cut down on the fried food, man. I think I was telling Javi this hot Nashville hot chicken craze that's came out over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I would not eat fried foods like really often before, and then I've been eating. You go there, you get the fried sandwich, chicken sandwiches plus the fries.
Yeah.
And you're going there at least once a month, maybe twice, and it's just been out of control, man. So I'm trying to cut down on the fried foods. Gotta minimize the red meat.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's just
gotta minimize the dairy.
I love my dairy. I can't give a.
I'm just trying to minimize the dairy. What about I want to eat some more apples, more bananas?
Yeah. I heard blueberries are the best for you.
Yeah, I've been not eat. I used to eat blueberries a lot, so I got to get back.
Blueberry pancakes.
I haven't had blueberry pancakes in a while.
Blueberry.
Nothing like. Shout out to our boy Harry B.
Made to order.
Harry B. I can't remember when we went out with Harry B that time, and he was like, "Man, cannot wait." He was so pumped about getting made to order blueberry pancakes. Like Harry B was looking forward to the blueberry pancakes. So. Yeah, I haven't had blueberry. I haven't had a stack in a while, Big Ree.
Yeah.
Look to get some wheat pancakes. You know what? That might be on my list to go just get a nice breakfast with a stack of pancakes. How do you like your eggs, Big Ree? Scrambled eggs.
I go omelet.
Omelet. You like omelet? Okay. Yeah. I always go scrambled, Big Ree.
Yeah.
Are you a hash brown guy, tater tots guy, or what's the other one? You got tater tots, hash browns, and then like the potatoes, just the potatoes.
It depends where you are.
Okay, what is your go-to? Like if you could pick.
Potatoes probably.
Just the potatoes. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Everybody knows for me, the best meal of the day, if you could say, hey Ace, you got one last meal, what are you gonna eat? Give me some scrambled eggs, give me some hash browns, crispy hash browns, and a stack of pancakes.
Yeah.
Buttermilk pancakes, some syrup. That's what I want for my meal.
Yeah.
Like you cannot provide me anything better. Or if it's gonna be dinner, like I said, just a steak.
Yeah.
Steak, a nice juicy steak, and some steak fries. And everyone's like, Ace, you like steak fries? Yes, steak fries. I know that's probably not the popular choice, but what's your meal to go right now? You just come on, Big Ree. Like if you could just say, give me 2 meals. Like you only 2 meals. That's it.
I can't think of.
Come on, you got to give us your one meal, Big Ree. Like if there's one meal that you're just gonna enjoy, what's that meal, Big Ree? Come on.
Definitely a steak. That's the obvious one.
Okay.
With some nice sides, some mac. Some lobster mac. Let me make that.
Lobster mac and cheese. Okay.
And I don't know the other one.
Okay, but steak. Like you're
it's definitely
steak guy. Yeah. I was trying to think. I had a question for you kind of a question of the day that I've been wanting to ask you, and it's just
Maybe
kind of
we'll get into next week.
I'm trying to think what it was. I remember I was asking Javi about it, and me and Javi were like, "Oh, that's a really good one. Like, you got to make sure for sure to ask Big Ree the question of the day." And it's just
Maybe I think we just need to get into the picks. We're a little bit behind right now.
give me a moment, give me a minute, Big Ree. Let me see if I can think about what this question of the day is. Trying to think, what is this question of the day, man? It's blanking out. I mean, me and Javi were discussing it, and it was like, dude, that was great. We definitely got to discuss that. Okay, well, I think we're gonna have to,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to move on then. We'll get into the question of the day. But yeah, so this weekend we got the divisional round games and UFC. So let's make something happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk to the crew. Let's try to make something happen. All right, let's get into the games. Big Reed, we got the divisional round. Here we go, boys and girls. Aquí vamos, chicos y chicas. Let's go. All right, we're coming off a 3-3 week, Big Ree. On the wild card, we both went 3-3.
I think I went 2-4. I think.
No, we both went 3-3.
We both went 3-3. Okay.
We both went 3-3 on the wild card weekend. I think with the Chargers, we both got wrong on that one.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens, you got the Ravens right, I got it wrong. We both got the Bills right. You got the Packers wrong. I got the Eagles right. And then the Rams, we went hard. Your locks of the week. But let's get into it. Game 1, Big Ree. This is a Saturday game, January 18th, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are an 8-point favorite here. Texans 10-7, 5-4 on the road. They're coming off a 32-12 win versus the Chargers. They won by 20 despite having 3 turnovers themselves. They outgained the Chargers 429 to 261. Held Justin Herbert 14 out of 32, 242 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions for Herbert. Joe Mixon, 25 carries, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Wide receiver Nico Collins, 7 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown. And then we got Kansas City. They had a first-round bye. They're 15-2, 8-0 at home. Only 2 losses on the season, 30-21 at Buffalo in Week 11. And then 38-0 versus Denver in Week 18 when they literally played their third stringers. The starters have rested since December 25, Christmas Day. They've only given up over 20 points 4 times on the season out of 17 games. They only scored over 30, though, twice on the season. They're currently on a 6-game winning streak. And Kansas City did beat Houston 27-19 in Kansas City in Week 16. Big Ree, Kansas City 8 points. What do you think here?
Yeah, I love Kansas City here. I'm not gonna buy the fraud team that I still say is a fraud. It was fraud versus frauder last week, and I'm not gonna buy the Texans. You're not going up against Justin Herbert. This is Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's 1. 2, this is a great defense. This isn't the Chargers defense. So, yeah, and it's in Kansas City, so that's a huge deal too. So I think the Chiefs win by, I'd say, 2 touchdowns, 14 points.
Yeah, okay. So, Big Ree, I mean, this should be obviously Kansas City coming off, they're well rested, 8-0 at home. I think that's a big deal. Like you said, they're at home. Kansas City at times has looked good this year. At times they're squeaking out wins, and everyone's like, dude, they don't look that good, but they're winning. And then the Texans, I think that honestly, the Texans, they just don't have the offensive weapons. They looked great last week against the Chargers, but I think that says more about the Chargers than the Texans. That the Chargers are a fraud, like you've been saying. I don't trust the Texans either. I think they got a good win. Congrats. But I think this is a completely different level. They won so heavy. That's why the line is only 8, right? They won by 20 points in a playoff game. But I think I agree with Big Ree. They're in for a rude awakening. I agree everything with Big Ree says there. I think the Kansas City wins by 2 touchdowns. I think they win by 10 to 14 points pretty comfortably. And so I'm going to agree with you, Big Ree. Kansas City, they're on a 6-game winning streak. I think this is an easy one. I think this is probably one of the locks of the week. And so I'm taking Kansas City -8. I agree with you, Big Ree. All right, game 2. This is also on Saturday, January 18th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We got the Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 9.5-point favorite. Commanders 12-5, 6-3 on the road, coming off a 23-20 win versus the Bucs. Outgained the Buccaneers 350 to 284. Jaden Daniels 24 for 35, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They are on a 6-game winning streak. Only 1 of 5 losses were by over 8 points. That was the 37-20 loss to Buccaneers in week 1. We got Detroit 15-2, 7-2 at home, coming off a 31-9 win versus Minnesota in week 18 to clinch the number 1 seed. They are on a 3-game winning streak. They are 14-1 in their last 15 games. Only 2 losses on the season, 2016 to the Bucs and 48-42 to Buffalo. Detroit is a 9.5-point favorite. Big Ree, what do you think here?
Yeah, Commanders, obviously huge win in Tampa Bay. And the key thing is they won, but they only won by 3. And this is in Detroit. Probably one of the first home games in a while, playoff home games in a while. No disrespect to Bucs fans, but the Lions and Bucs fans are going to be going crazy. And I think the Lions also win by 2 touchdowns, and they cover pretty easily. Jared Goff, the over-under is 55.5, so they're projecting about a 33-23 game. So, but I think the Lions win by 2 touchdowns pretty comfortably, easily.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Commanders have some momentum. They're a good team. They're 13-5 team. They've won 13 wins, and they had a good win against the Bucs. They looked good. Jaden Daniels looked really poised, really impressed. Detroit has been on fire. They're playing great. Goff is playing great. Jahmyr Gibbs is playing absolutely the stud. They got the stud coach in Dan Campbell. Don't do anything stupid, Campbell, because I'm a Lions fan, so don't do anything stupid, unnecessary. But Detroit's on fire. They're playing well, but their defense stinks. I mean, their defense is bad. They played well against Minnesota, but that clearly, I think that was kind of overrated because Minnesota just played really bad, and we saw that against the Rams. But Detroit's defense is vulnerable. I like Washington to stay competitive in this game. I think they're going to keep this competitive. But I'm going to have to agree with Big Ree. I think they keep it competitive through, maybe through 3 quarters. But then I like Detroit to win this. And I think Detroit wins 34-24, 34-21, something like that. And I like Detroit to cover. I'm going to agree with you again, Big Ree. And I'm taking Detroit -9.5 as well. So we're both agreeing on the first 2 picks. All right, game 3. This is on Sunday, January 19th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. We got the Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are a 6-point favorite here. Rams 10-7, 5-3 on the road, coming off a 27-9 win versus Minnesota. They were up 24-3 at halftime. Stafford 19 for 27, 209, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They are on a 6-game winning streak other than the loss in week 18 when they benched the starters, so I'm not counting that. They're on a 6-game winning streak. They lost. And then we got the Eagles 14-3, 9-1 at home, coming off a 22-10 win versus Green Bay. They outgained Green Bay. They got outgained by Green Bay 302 to 290, but Green Bay had 4 turnovers. Jalen Hurts 13 for 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley 25 carries, 119 yards. A.J. Brown 1 reception, 10 yards. They are 13-1 in their last 14 games. They only lost 36-33 to Washington Commanders. That was without Jalen Hurts. They did beat the Rams 37-20 in Week 12. All right, the Eagles 6-point favorite here. Big Ree, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is going to come down to what can play better, the Rams defense or the Eagles offense, because the Rams have a better offense in my opinion and the Eagles have a better defense. I think that's pretty clear as day. And I think it'll be a close game. I think the Eagles win on a game-winning field goal, but I'm going to take the Rams +6 here.
Okay, so you think this goes down to the wire?
Yeah, game-winning field goal
on the Eagles
for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Philly. Unfortunately, this is going to be. I think this is going to be a really good game. I mean, obviously we're from LA, so everybody knows who. I mean, we're rooting for.
Yeah.
We're rooting for the Rams. Eagles are at home, which home games make a big difference, especially in the playoffs. Rams have all the momentum. 27-9 win versus Minnesota. They started off 1-4 on the season. Been on fire lately. They're looking really good. Eagles obviously have been playing great. Jalen Hurts, sometimes he looks average. Sometimes looks really good. Obviously, Barkley's playing great. I think that's probably the X factor for me. That I just don't see Barkley having a bad game. I just don't. I think this guy's going to continue to eat. He's going to play really well. They're at home here. And I just think Barkley's going to have he's been having a monster. I think he's going to have even a bigger game this week. He's going to play well. I think Hurts is going to play better. He had like an average game. I think Eagles like I said earlier, I think the Eagles should have lost that game against Packers. They really should have lost that game. And I think they bounced back here at home. They got that kind of crappy game out of the way. And I like the Eagles to win and cover here. I think the Eagles win probably by 7 to 10 points here. I think they cover the 6 points. So I'm going to disagree with you, Big Ree. I like the Eagles -6, and I think Barkley anytime touchdown is a good bet there.
Yeah, it's probably like -170.
I think you take it. I think that's easy money. I think Barkley has definitely a touchdown, and so I like the Eagles -6. Big Ree disagreeing. All right, fourth and final game on the divisional round. Sunday, January 19th. This game is being played at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern time. The Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. The Ravens are now a 1-point favorite, and I believe the Buffalo opened up at a 1-point favorite.
Yeah.
And so Ravens 12-5, 6-3 on the road, coming off a 28-14 win versus the Steelers. They outgained Pitt 464 to 280. Out first down them 29-11. And Lamar 16 for 21. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 81 rush yards. Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. They beat Buffalo 35-10 in Week 4, dominated them. And then Buffalo 13-4, 9-0 at home, coming off a 31-7 win versus Denver. Outgained Denver 471 to 224. Time of possession, they just dominated them as well. Josh Allen, 20 for 26, 272, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. James Cook, 23 carries, 120 yards, 1 touchdown. They are 11-1 in their last 12 games, and I'm not counting the Week 18 loss to New England when they really just benched the starters. Big Ree, Baltimore is a 1-point favorite here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to come down to who can play better, Lamar or Josh, and which defense can play better. And I think Lamar is slightly a better QB. It's hard to say because I'm a Josh Allen fan. But I just think Buffalo pulls this out, and I think also on a game-winning field goal, too. Comes down to the wire, game-winning field goal in Buffalo.
So you like Buffalo on a game-winning field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the matchup of the week, probably the best game that everybody's looking forward to. The top two MVP candidates, both having just MVP seasons, right? Like both of them, this is such a hard call on who's going to be the MVP. And before I get into my thoughts, do you think whoever wins this gets the MVP?
No, that doesn't matter. Playoffs doesn't factor into it.
Yeah, but is it already
already
decided?
decided. It's
okay,
already
they've
decided.
already decided. Okay. But it's such a great matchup. Obviously, Buffalo's at home, and they're 9-0 at home makes a big difference. Both teams are playing good. Look, but I think Baltimore has the edge offensively, for sure. I think they just have way more weapons than Buffalo. I think, and then the defense, I would say Buffalo has probably, I would give them a little bit of an edge defensively, just a little bit, but probably pretty similar. I feel like Josh Allen is going to have to do a lot here in this game, and he's done it all season, but I think he's going to have to do a lot, and that's tough. Like, I think the difference here is Lamar can just hand it to Henry, right, and get a little bit of a break. And James Cook, don't get me wrong, he's having a great season, he's a good player, but he's not at the level of Derrick Henry, and the weapons I think Baltimore just has too many weapons. I think it should be a back and forth game. Buffalo can be up, Baltimore can be up, but ultimately I think it is a close game. This is within a touchdown. Nobody's going to win by more than a touchdown here.
Yeah.
But I think Baltimore just squeaks this game out. I just think Lamar is going to figure it out here. And I think Josh Allen, unfortunately, he's going to have too much pressure on him to make big plays, whether it's him running or passing. And I think that's going to put him in position where he's going to have a turnover or two. And I think that's going to cost them, honestly. And I think Baltimore wins this here. But it's going to be a close game, and I'm really looking forward to this. But I got to roll with the Ravens here, Big Ree. I have to disagree with you, and I think the Ravens sneak this one out. But I think it's going to be a great game, and so I'm going with Baltimore -1. I'm going to disagree with you, Big Ree. And so it should be a great divisional round. Cannot wait.
So you're taking all favorites, right?
Yeah, I got the Eagles, Buffalo, Kansas City, and Detroit. I'm taking all favorites here. And I think it's a juicy weekend. Look out for our college football championship videos already out. Ohio State and Notre Dame. So watch that video. And should be a good weekend of sports and UFC fighting. And then we'll see you guys next week for conference championship. Anything you want to say, Big Ree, before we hit the like button, boys and girls? Hit the subscribe. Definitely throw out your comments. And we'll see you guys next week for conference championship week.